Greetings, gentle observer, and welcome. I am RDF, and within this non-edited video I shall expose the man-made climate change conspiracy, give the reason for its creation, and reveal the secret it was designed to hide. Beginning then with the big secret the government are so desperately trying to keep from you. And so that I might explain this secret more readily, I will give a quotation taken from a speech given in 1964 by the astronomer, broadcaster and author, the late, the great Sir Fred Hoyle. And I quote, "It has often been said that if the human species fails to make a go of it here on Earth, some other species will take over the running. In the sense of developing intelligence, this is not correct. We have, or soon will have, exhausted the necessary physical prerequisites, so far as this planet is concerned. With coal gone, oil gone, and high-grade metallic ores gone, no species, however competent, can make the long climb from primitive conditions to high-level technology. This is a one-shot affair. If we fail, this planetary system fails, so far as intelligence is concerned." End quote. Sadly, we have had our one and only shot at civilization. For we have, as Sir Fred Hoyle foretold, exhausted the minerals and other prerequisites needed to continue with our current way of life. We have, sadly and in truth, raped the earth, squandering vital resources, resources indeed that should have lasted our descendants for millennia. We, in our throwaway society, have squandered in just 200 years. And thus, we are heading for a catastrophe of unimaginable proportions. A number of these squandered minerals include, for example, rare earth elements used in computer screens, tablets and mobile phones, as well as the magnets used in wind turbines and electric vehicles, with 97% of these rare earth elements coming from China alone. And should China decide to hold these minerals back for domestic use, then this would have a truly catastrophic impact upon us all. Platinum is yet another mineral whose life hangs by a thread, as all of the platinum used throughout the world today comes from just 2 mines in South Africa. There are many such minerals that are nearing a point of total depletion. However, it is the demise of the 4 main energy producing minerals, uranium, coal, natural gas and oil, that will have the greatest and most immediate impact, with oil in particular, as the world in which we now live is totally dependent upon it. And its ending and the coming of the inevitable energy crisis will change our society. Indeed, it will change our very civilization forever. Indeed, we do not have to speculate as to what even a very small shortfall in the supply of oil might do to our economy. For we have a precedent from which to draw guidance. For in 1973, OPEC curtailed oil supplies to Western nations, including Great Britain, causing a shortfall in the supply of oil of just 5%. But this small shortfall had truly devastating impact upon the UK economy, as a Google search of the oil shock, as it became known, will so reveal. More recently, the government realised that an oil supply problem might manifest itself at any time. And knowing the effect such a shortfall would have on the economy, they desperately tried to keep the coming energy crisis out of the public consciousness, as they were afraid that knowledge of the coming energy crisis of itself would have negative social consequences. The stock market may well crash, and there may well be a run on the banks, for example. The government now, however, had a huge problem. For by trying to keep the coming energy crisis a secret, then this prevented them from taking any measures that might help mitigate the effects of this crisis. And so, as a way out of this dilemma, the government decided not to demonise oil itself, as this would have set alarm bells ringing, but instead they zeroed in on the CO2 the burning of oil produces. And in order to do this, they invented the man-made CO2-caused climate change story, as this gives them unquestioning permission to raise taxes or impose any other restrictive or punitive measures without question and without complaint. One such extreme measure is the planned phasing out of natural gas for home cooking and heating, as well as the phasing out of all petrol and diesel powered road vehicles by 2035, just 15 years hence. And given that there are no alternatives to these fuels, then were this to happen, then this would radically and permanently alter the very structure of our society. For without natural gas, petrol and diesel, the country simply could not function. And yet these catastrophic social changes go unchallenged. That any government would even contemplate these society-destroying proposals, based as they are upon nothing more than the unproven theory that CO2 is the cause of any observed rise in global temperatures, defies logic itself and makes absolutely no sense whatsoever until we realise that this phasing out idea is yet another government ploy to mask the coming energy crisis. For, and to be clear, natural gas, petrol and diesel will not be phased out, but rather they will run out, as the government knows all too well. To be clear, there is no CO2-driven climate change crisis. Indeed, there is no climate change crisis at all. But there is instead a government-inspired deception designed to hide the magnitude or indeed the very inevitability of the coming energy crisis. And the government are aided and abetted in this deception by the climate alarmists who, in their ignorance, continue to broadcast and promote the climate change lie. Here I would mention that the current corona pandemic has dampened the demand for oil and so given the world a temporary reprieve. The supply problem, however, has not disappeared per se, but it has merely been postponed. As I began, I would end this video with a quotation. If you tell a big lie and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. Joseph Goebbels, Reich Minister of Propaganda. We have all been told the big lie, and the climate alarmists, at least, have now come to believe it. I am RDF, and I thank you for watching my humble video, and I do so hope you will subscribe and press the notification bell.